starting out with a migration process, you're going to want to go into the knowledge base, the version 1, we call it the version 1 knowledge base. That's IDX Broker Original. Just some background on version 1 and what we call version 1 and what we call version 2. Version 1 is a platform that was built on code that we started about 10 years ago, and so we've been in business for a long time. We built that from the ground up, and decided about 3.5 years ago that we needed to rebuild the system again from the ground up in order to make the code really work well and be flexible and mobile friendly, and also hosted on the cloud. And so we invested a tremendous amount of resources into just building out a system that was intended and is much better than the IDX Broker Original system that you're using now, and offers a lot more in the future because we can actually develop on that platform due to the organization of the code, the flexibility of the code. We're able to develop a lot faster. And so one of the things we've been able to do in making that investment is that now we have, we're an agile company. For those of you you may or may not be familiar with that term, but what it means is that we release every few weeks. Different agile companies will operate in different time frames, but we release new features basically every few weeks. And so, for instance, we launched 3 new features just this week, and then a few weeks from now we'll launch a few more features. And these are these are new features, and with IDX Broker Original and the V1 platform, we weren't really able to do that, and in fact we weren't able to do that for quite some time. So the new platform really offers you a lot more in terms of future capabilities, and we're making some big investments now, some similar investments in what we call acquisition. So we're investing in acquisition servers and upgrades, so that in 2015 we'll be able to offer things like sold data and all these things that people have been asking for years. We just haven't been able to offer on version 1. So if there's one takeaway that you get from this webinar or reason to migrate, it should be that just knowing that we are going to be able to offer you so much more in the future and give you much more value, especially with IDX Broker Lite, which is priced at the same price as IDX Broker Original. And so we're able to give you a lot more value for the money and not raise your price. So with that said, just kind of the preliminary stuff out of the way, let's get into the details here and migrating. So here we have step 0, consider the details. There's an article here that you can read that's all about migrating and migrations. Some Q&A, FAQ type questions with answers. Do you pay a $99 setup fee? No, you don't. You get a month of free services from both. It's not free services, but you get the equivalent of a month of both services running at the same time to give you enough time to migrate over. And when we say migrate, the whole concept of migration is just, when you migrate, if you start out with something like a very highly customized website, that migration experience is very, very different. Or let's say you have 1,000 custom links. That migration experience is very different from a migration experience where you just have some links on your site and you swap out the links and you're done. I mean, that latter migration process, it's much faster and much easier. So those of you that don't have a lot of custom links, a lot of custom CSS, it's going to be a very straightforward process for you. If you don't, or if you have, another example is widgets. If you have a lot of widgets on your site that have been customized, that too will take some time. So those are the things that I really want you to consider with the migration, is that you're making an investment in us. We've made an investment in you in V2 in getting you more value for your money, but you really would need to, if you have these custom items on your site, you really need to make an investment in the future with IDX Broker, because you're not going to want to migrate and then backtrack or migrate and then become frustrated, and we don't want that either. We want you to we want to set you up for success so that you're not surprised, we're not surprised, and we get you going in the right direction, and you can use some of these great new features that I'll talk about later in the webinar. There's a good section here on custom subdomains and whether you need to use a new custom subdomain or not. If you have a custom subdomain in place, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's my domain or my site. It might be search.mysite.com instead of mysite.idxbroker.com. So rather than using our primary domain, you have a subdomain off of your own subdomain. So for those of you that have that, just keep in mind that in most cases, you're going to want to set up a new custom subdomain, but we did just recently launch a feature that allows us to override the 301 redirects. So if you do choose after you migrate to use a different subdomain, we can update that subdomain later. So again, another feature available within V2 that we were able to launch at customer request. And so that provides you with some flexibility in the future if you decide you want to, you don't. For those of you that are technically minded, you want that 301 redirect, and a 301 redirect for those of you who are not savvy, SEO savvy, or aren't familiar with that term. It just means that when Google goes to finds a specific page, a custom link on your site, or some link that you have on your site, Google knows to go to a corresponding page on V2, so or Lite or Platinum, right? When I say V2, I mean Lite or Platinum, so whichever product you choose. So I'll just refer to it as V2 right now, because you can make up your mind about Lite or Platinum at any time. You can go into the Upgrade Center and upgrade or downgrade as you want. It's a $20 price difference. There's some content on our site that talks about the differences, but anyway, with the 301 redirect, it basically redirects to those pages. Now, one thing that we don't do is we're not able to 301 redirect all of your details pages, and so those details pages that were on version 1 will end up just pointing, if those are indexed now, they'll end up going to your home your primary domain. So it'll just be a redirect to your primary domain. All right, let's take a look. Will there be any downtime on the site? And actually, let me back up a little bit. I may have spoken a little too soon on the redirect. It may be a 404 that those specific links, but then some of the featured links may redirect. If you have any questions about that, I can provide more detail. We'll probably add more detail here as well on the 301s, just because of the complexity of that, and it's important to be accurate. Will there be any downtime on the site? There shouldn't be any downtime when the activation, everything gets triggered on the 30th day. You migrate over, you get basically the emails stop being sent from your V1 account and they'll go out from your V2 account, your Lite or Platinum account. So that happens instantly, just the next day after the 30 days is over. So you want to make sure that your email update wrapper is set up. There's a similar tool in V2 that allows you to test the email update wrapper and make sure that it looks clean and nice before that happens. There is another piece to this that you're going to want to keep in mind, and that is that the sooner that you can swap out the primary links on your website for the new Lite or Platinum links and get your site ready to go, the better. And the reason for that is because when we migrate on the 30th day, it's a script that does this. It just automatically turns off your V1 account, turns on your V2 account. When that happens, any leads that have signed up for that through that V1 account, that original account, any leads will be you'll basically have to move those over yourself. So those are manual, because our system is not able to determine in between that, in that 30-day period, our system is not able to pull in any incremental emails and then deactivate the V1 account. So again, just an incentive to swap out those links as soon as you possibly can. Once you get the email from us saying, hey, here are your new Platinum or Lite credentials, log in and check it out. I would stress that you'll want to get going with that right away. So do I need a designer to help me? We do have a list of designers that you could reach out to, and potentially they could help you. If you have a designer, you could go with them. And I would encourage that if you have something, if it's very customized, and think of it as less of an investment than switching your IDX to a new IDX and rebuilding the site, but definitely more than if you just stayed on original. So you want to ask yourself before you get down that road, make sure that you understand how much it's going to cost, the investment, what you feel like you're going to get out of it. And I can talk, again, I'll talk a little bit about what you're going to get here later in the webinar, and I'll show you some of the Lite and Platinum features. But I think that's important for you to keep in mind is just what are you going to, what is the cost going to be doing this before you move forward? And think of it not as a cost, but more of an investment. Will the iPhone app work? Now this is a tough one because those of you that use it are you're going to be annoyed by this, but that My Agent app, it's not an updated app. It isn't using updated code. We moved everything to mobile responsive and also mobile template or mobile wrappers, what we call mobile wrappers. So if you have a mobile responsive site and you migrate over to Lite or Platinum, our templates, we're building mobile responsive templates now. We call them mobile first rather than mobile responsive. We've built a few mobile first templates so far in the last month and a half. And then those are mobile first, and then they stretch out to fit a desktop as well. Those are available in Platinum and Lite. And then there's also what's called the mobile wrappers, and the mobile wrappers basically gives you the equivalent. It gives your user the equivalent look and feel of the mobile app, of the My Agent app, with the advantage of the fact that you can style it, you can customize the CSS for the mobile, which is amazing. You can modify anything in the mobile pages, so you have a lot more control over the experience. And then, in fact, one of our internal developers was able to add a little widget code to their site that shows a little. It shows this isn't available through us, but you can find this code or have your programmer find it and a developer find it, and it basically will just display a little icon, a little option down at the bottom, and that says tap here to add to your home screen. And so you can have almost the equivalent experience, give people the equivalent experience of having a mobile device, but they don't have to enter a code. The code doesn't have to be submitted to Apple or with Google. It doesn't have to go through any of that process, and so you're able to modify your site on the fly. And that's one of the advantages of V2 and IDX Broker Platinum and Lite. Now the mobile wrappers, again, they display the equivalent of the mobile page, and I'll talk about that right now. Actually, I want to give you an example. Google just recently announced, they talked a little bit about their new, I think they've had it around for a little while, but they just blogged about it, their mobile-friendly test page on Webmaster Tools. And basically what this does, you can go in and plug in your link and hit Analyze, and it'll tell you how mobile-friendly the page is. Now, obviously, they're taking our mobile, we're using our demo here, and I entered it in, analyzed it, and they think it's awesome and it's mobile friendly. So if you compare that against you have here the demo from IDX Broker Original, and as you can see, from a mobile friendly standpoint, it's not, and so it's not as mobile friendly, not mobile friendly really at all, unless you were to have somebody really get in there and dive in and customize the CSS. So a lot of that stuff we've done for you in Platinum and Lite. So we've created a mobile-friendly experience that, and one of the reasons Google blogged about this is because they have a mobile robot that's, or a bot, I should say, that's going out and crawling sites and looking for mobile content. So the fact that you have this mobile content out there is going to help you get indexed on for those mobile searches. So let's go back here to the page. This one, yeah. And then I'll cover the last item here. Can I go back to original? This is a tough one. We have, in some cases, allowed people to do that. You know, it says here, unfortunately, it's not possible. We're trying to set that expectation up front, but and the reason is that we can't. I guess the question is, you know, can I revert back? Can I get my settings? We're not able to, you know, to revert things back or unmigrate. So all of your old leads will be old leads. You won't have any of the new leads in there. So we can't add anything that you've customized or anything like that. So just make sure you're aware of that before you pull the plug or pull the trigger on it. Let's go back to this page. So that's consider the details. And I know that seems like a lot, but honestly, if you just spend 20 minutes, half an hour, if that, going through some of the questions, and make sure that there's nothing that's really a deal breaker for you. And if there isn't a deal breaker, then go ahead and move to step one, whether you want to choose the subdomain custom or standard, and it talks a little bit about that. Pretty straightforward. If you have a custom subdomain, you know that you probably want to keep that. And then step two is just going to the migration form. So you go here, and here it gives you the option. You decide which one you want. Click the terms to agree the terms, and then whether you want a new custom subdomain or not, and then just submit your request. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. The actual process itself is, it takes 10 seconds, and so that'll put you in the queue. And then what happens is we look through that queue, and we have people that review that queue every day. And usually within a few days, you'll get an email that contains the credentials to your Lite or Platinum account. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Everything's set up for you. The billing is set automatically for you, so your billing date remains the same. Depending on what you upgraded to, your billing may change. Your pricing structure may change for that next month, but whether it's 39 or 59. But essentially your billing date stays the same. Everything else is the same. The only thing that you have is this need to go through and swap out the links on your site, and then polish up your Platinum account. And again, like I said, the sooner you can get those links swapped out and those links set up on your site, the better. Let's go back. Submit the request form, and then while awaiting your new activation. Okay, here are some really important things to keep in mind. Okay, don't create any new saved links in original after you submit your request. Okay, they won't get copied over. Don't delete your old CNAME record. This is for those of you that have custom subdomains. Okay, and then do review the knowledge base articles regarding the new control panel. And if I open this, our V2 knowledge base is available here, and it's just kb.idxbroker.com. You can find it from the main site too. Click on support, and from here you can review all the articles that we have here set up for you. Okay, newest articles, basically new features. We've got things like front-end polygon search. This is a new feature we just launched. This is in Platinum. So for $20 more per month, you would have access to this front-end polygon search. So you're not only is there back-end polygon search for you to build links, but now your clients can go in on their map and build out their own polygon. Okay, let's go back here. And again, on the leads, any new leads that captured are not transferred over to the new account, so keep that in mind. Migration period. You'll know it's ready when you get the login, and like I said, you'll get that. updating your IDX links anywhere on your website that you want the links to be updated. Again, do this quickly. Try to get these swapped out as quickly as possible. In Platinum or Lite, you're also going to want to recreate your widgets. So any widgets that you have now in Original, you're going to want to create those in Lite or Platinum. And then choose new page layouts. You can choose basically. I look at the dashboard here. We have on pages we have options to choose layouts. So you can have the option to advanced search. If I want different layouts, here's a select box layout. These offer little select boxes here. We're going to be adding. We'll be adding new layouts to this as well. So each page has the option of layouts, and then anytime you see a little refresh icon, you can always refresh the layout because we push out updates. So if you're running Platinum, the other thing you can do is you could create a new page and then build it around a layout. So you could build a new page, have a layout, and then even filter the search for that page so that that page only searches a certain type of certain listings only, specific listings in an area, a city, whatever you want. Let's go back here. So choosing layouts, and then close your IDX Broker Original account. So that happens, again, that happens automatically, and it happens at the end of the 30-day period, and then from there you're ready to go. Okay, so that is about it in terms of migrating. It's very straightforward. I think at this point what I want to do is talk a little bit about what's in, what is in Platinum and Lite, so that you can get a good sense for that. Let me close these tabs out. So let's go here, and I'll show you first what the dashboard looks like. So it's very similar. I mean, in some ways we built, we built things with V1 in mind, with Original in mind. We did add some new functionality. We've added things like raw traffic, where you get a bit more detail about refer, things like that. We have archive traffic that this will archive data based on date. Now this is a demo, so this is not archiving, but your account would be archiving that data. We have a new feature called API control, and it's basically for those of you that have WordPress and you feel like you want to keep it secure, you can reset your key and create a new key and just plug it into your WordPress plugin. Pretty easy, straightforward. The new WordPress plugin works, quite a bit differently from the old plugin, and then it shows your traffic here as well. So API key control. Let's move on to the Message Center. This is a great new feature. This is one that is available in Lite and Platinum, and what it does is it gives you a glimpse into all the emails that the system sends out to you or on your behalf, basically, any email. So you can verify that an email went out. So you won't have to call us about that. Account notes, that's very similar to Original. Contacts, just where you can add contacts. So that if you have somebody on the account that you want to be able to give them access, they're a designer, a developer, or whatever, you want to give them access, you can do that. Billing information, we have added ACH to billing. In addition, you can also cancel in line, so you can go in and you can cancel. You can also re-enable your account, just log in and resubmit, re-enable the account within a certain period of time. So you can do that and the reason for that is because the reason why we don't allow you to just re-enable the account on the fly, sort of like a Netflix style, is that we have to be sure that you're approved by the MLS, and so we sometimes have to resubmit paperwork and things like that. So otherwise, we would love to be able to just have you, cancel, re-enable whenever you want on the fly. The bottom line is that we made this, we want you to be happy with the services, and we want you to use the services when you need them, or stay with us because we're earning your business every day. Upgrade Center. So here's an area where what you can do is you can upgrade to and downgrade to different services, different product types. So here's the account type, and then multi-user. So you could upgrade or downgrade to Platinum or Lite, and then you can also upgrade your user level on the fly to, you know, more agents or fewer agents, whatever you want. So again, all that is now self-managed. You can do that on your own. Custom domain you can add in here if you want to change it. If you change it after you migrate, just make sure you notify support so that we can change it in our system. It doesn't automatically change for you. Change password, that's also available in original. Let's look at global preferences. Very similar to original, a lot of the same features, but we've added some as well. So let me show you some of the features that we have added. One thing is we've added, this is $50 a month for this WalkScore Pro. This is if you go out and buy this and add it to a website, it's going to cost you $50 a month for the, basically it's WalkScore on your details page, and it comes with, excuse me, comes with the Street View, Google Street View, and it also has all the WalkScore functionality, no ads. We purchased this on your behalf, so this is again a $50 value. Let's see, WalkScore height, and let's take a look at map. One of the things you can do in the map is now you can refresh automatically. So by default, I think it comes out manually, but it's automatic refresh. And so anytime someone moves it around, it's going to automatically refresh. Pin clustering. So pin clustering on the desktop or mobile, pin clustering is, let's take a look at that. This is pin clustering. If you see it says 19 and 12, and so if I zoom in, it'll cluster 3 together. The system automatically knows how many to cluster. So I go in here, zoom in, 14, I keep zooming, and then this is a new feature for those of you that work with condos, and what it does is it shows a listing. Actually, this is because I'm zoomed out, but let me see. Yeah, I think it's zoomed out, but condos would display this as well, or you know, apartments, things like that. Again, this is demo, so some of this is demo data. But basically what this does is it gives you a view, kind of a bird's eye view of all the listings available for that building. So, and again, that's how pin clustering works. In some cases, you may want to disable that for mobile, because if you're a mobile user, you don't want to have to click tap, 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 you know, to zoom in. You're just going to want to see what's near you. So you might disable that. Get another feature. That feature is available in, I believe that's in, let me see, that is, yes, that is available in Lite and Platinum. Let's go here, email settings. Email settings is very similar. You can send an email update sample to yourself. A lot of the same form, recipient, email settings, that sort of thing. Share this was also available. And then mobile settings and mobile wrappers. If you have a mobile responsive site, you don't need the mobile wrappers. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'll show you what this looks like. So if I go to Tools, More Tools, and then I go to Developer Tools or Control-Shift-I, and I'll do a quick, you can't see this screen that I'm looking at, but I'm going to click over, let me shrink this down, I'll show you what I'm doing. So I can go in here, and again, V2 and Platinum and Original are built really around mobile, so this is something you're going to want to know. Do you see I changed in Chrome, I clicked on this icon, and it toggles back and forth between mobile viewport and desktop viewport. But in the process, it's asking me to reload. So I'll reload, and now my mobile page comes up. Okay, this is how it's going to look on mobile. So if I click on this little circle is the equivalent of someone using their finger on a mobile device. Okay, so it gives you a sense for what it's going to look like, how it's going to look. If you want to resize the text or modify the color on these buttons, things like that, you can actually have a developer come in and identify what that button is. And like here's the button. And let's see if I have color in here that I can change. So Yeah, it's a. You can test it by just changing the setting, spec element, and it might be this one. Actually, it's probably that. So then you can come in and just see, your developer can come in and see what, what kind of change, what kind of background you want. So let's say you want that background for some reason. And let me see, border. You can add borders. You can see it's changing as I change the border. You want a white border, something like that. You can make those on the fly and then just modify that. Your developer can go in and modify that custom CSS, so way more powerful than what you had through the mobile app itself. And so that is the mobile setting. That's the mobile wrappers. Now, if you have mobile wrappers off, let's turn that off, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is mobile wrappers off, and I'll hit refresh. Okay. Now this is mobile wrappers off. Now this works because there's a, I forget the accordion, or there's a term for this little menu option, but this works because it's a mobile responsive theme. So that's expanding, but your map itself is not it's not built inside of a it's not a mobile-friendly template. So you're going to want to choose a mobile-friendly template, and then you could test the mobile wrappers off, and then you'll have a fully mobile responsive site rather than the mobile wrappers. So it may be a little confusing. Just think of the mobile wrappers as the equivalent of the My Agent app, and then mobile wrappers off as the equivalent of, oh boy, I better have a mobile responsive site, and everything's governed by my mobile responsive site and what that CSS tells my IDX pages to do. All right, so let's go through here, keep going. And again, I know some of this is probably really technical for you, for some of you. There's definitely a lot to go through. Again, I've recorded the webinar, so if you're curious about any of the tools, or you want to check things out, you can always zoom through it later. Custom links, saved links, very similar to what you have. You can build custom saved links around Polygon search. So you can come in and build a Polygon search or a radius search that only displays listings for a specific area, and then save that criteria. So featured IDs, if you have agents, if you're an office, you have agents, and you want to add them, you can add those agents, and then it'll tell you when you need to upgrade your account. This is a really cool feature. This is the ability to modify, and this is only available in Platinum, but you can modify the status. Like if your MLS provides status, you can include it or exclude it from search, and that's for all searches. So you have control at the MLS level. It's an overlay of the MLS data, basically. So you have a lot of control there. Talk a little bit about pages. On pages, you also have a Facebook app, and if you go in here, you can modify the Facebook page preferences, and you just put in the page ID that you create in Facebook, the URL, and then featured listings that you want to show on that Facebook page, and it'll automatically show up for you. And that's in Lite and Platinum, so Facebook is available for both the Facebook featured listings. Widgets, very similar. Again, you have the option also of the let's see, the map search, the slideshow that's based on Polygon, so you can have Polygon widgets. Let's go back. I want to show you widgets. There's a new widget here that we just launched in the last week. That's a carousel widget, so it's a carousel style. So again, like I said, we're launching a lot of new features with no added cost, and that's for both Lite and Platinum. Let's look at wrappers. For wrappers, you have saved links. You now have the ability to build your own header and footer, dynamic wrapper, or include wrappers for these. So for these custom links, so you can build a custom link that has widgets specific to that area. which is pretty awesome. You weren't able to do that in original. Custom CSS, you can do custom CSS for save links as well. You also have the ability to do custom CSS at the global level for mobile. And what this does is this will modify the CSS of your wrappers, your mobile wrappers. So, yeah. Subheaders, very similar. You know, save links, subheaders, mobile. You've got a mobile subheader available here. And then leads. So leads, we now have a more advanced import resource, so you can come in and import leads, including if you, let's say when you migrated, and this is something I didn't bring up earlier, but if you, when you migrated, you didn't bring, you ended up with a bunch of new leads in that 30-day, during that 30-day period, you could always export them and then import them in through this, using this tool. Okay. There's manage leads, you know, and shows last activity, a lot of different features here. Lead registration preferences. You can come in here and we just added this new feature. You can edit the credential email that goes out. So you know, you can edit that credential email and basically display the lead credentials and when you send that lead out. And there's a number of different features there. Contact routing, if you have an office, you can route based on you know, all the different routes. You've got a round-robin route that can be tied to any segment too, so you can have a round-robin and tied to a you know, contact routing. So you have different layers of routing that you can use there. Excuse me. Save lead exports just shows lead exports. Okay, active listings. Very similar to original, all the same features. You know, one thing we have here is that you can modify the listing geo. You can, I think this listing is off somehow, but you can modify on the map, so you can move the pin so that it matches it's the correct geocode for your own featured listings. So let's say if it's your listing and the MLS geocoded it incorrectly, or we somehow incorrectly geocoded it, you can modify it there. Sold pending is very similar. Supplemental is actually tied to the MLS, tied to your account, so you can choose an MLS, select a property type, select subtype, and then you know, even select an agent, and then you can fill in your supplementals. This might be for any sold listings that you have. And then syndication, we automatically syndicate to Trulia, and then of course you have your RSS and advanced RSS feeds, and go from there. If you have an office, very powerful features for offices. You now can show all of your agents and then import them. So if you already have imported agents, it'll show them clicked, and it'll show the agents for your office only. And roster page, you can modify the roster page order, the order in the roster page, and then manage exports of users of your agents. You need to export those for any reason. So that's about it. There is a knowledge base icon up here. There's a lot of inline help. So once you get into it, you'll have a lot of you know, a lot of information about where to go, what each tool, how each tool is used. Usually a knowledge base article link. So a lot of great help there. So let's close this one. So that is Platinum. And then Lite is very similar. The thing that you don't have in Lite are things like the polygon. You don't have the polygon option. Let me open up this page so that you know where to go. You can go to compare versions, and in fact I'll send this to you, and we're going to update this again here soon. But there is the compare versions page, and that'll give you a little bit more information about what's in Platinum versus what's in Lite. Keep in mind when you migrate, you don't have to make that decision right away, and that you're able to, you can always upgrade to Platinum later at any point. And so if you want to just go to Lite and pay the same amount, $39.99 a month, you can do that. and then upgrade later as needed. So that's about it. If there are any questions, I can answer those now. I don't see any questions, so I suppose that's a good thing. That means that most of the answers are in the webinar. If you have any questions after the fact, go ahead and reply, send an email reply, and to your initial email invite, and we'll get to those questions and try to answer those for you. Again, the webinar was recorded, and in the next day or so, you'll receive an email that contains the link to the webinar on YouTube, and you can check it out there or share it. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to walk through this and go through some of the details with me today. We really appreciate your business over the years, and especially those of you, it's fun to talk to the V1 clients, because you've been with us. Most of you have been with us for a long time. We want to set you out, set you in the right direction, so that set your expectations well, and get you moving in the right direction towards V2 and get you migrated. I do have a question to answer here. This is great. So the new WordPress, do you need to install the new WordPress plugin? You would have to install the new plugin. The thing to keep in mind with WordPress is that you can use the both plugins at the same time. So the new plugin works just fine with the old plugin live, and then just disable the old plugin when you're ready to remove that. And then the new plugin is very straightforward. Just follow the instructions for the new plugin, and actually the old plugin is not even it's not available. So we pulled the plug on that, so that plugin isn't even available anymore. So the only plugin that you'll find is the IDX Broker plugin, the WordPress plugin. Let's see. Another question here is, what is the fastest way to remove links in county and city lists that are out of state? That's a good question. Let's take a look. So that's a feature that's in Original now as well. Let's take a look. Let's call that create city. And it's actually a dynamic. So what we need is a dynamic. So you have dynamic MLS lists. So that's where I needed to go, not to create. So what this is doing is I'm going to be adding or removing okay. So now I'm adding, and I apologize. I think the demo here, because of the data, we're using demo data. It doesn't behave the way it does in a live environment, unfortunately. So I can't show you that, but basically you would go in, and it's the same functionality. For the record, we built a lot of Platinum and Lite to have parity with Original. And so a lot of things are still available to you, and then you're getting additional features as well. Some of the features I showed you, Facebook, for Platinum users, you're getting Polygon search, front-end Polygon, and then of course I mentioned that we made a huge investment in V2 for 2015 with our acquisition server rebuild, and we expect to see a lot of great things come out of that as well. Sold data and things like that. So hopefully that answered that last question, and if not, let me know and via email, and we'll try to address that. Again, if you have any other questions, let me know. And again, this will be available the email is webinars@idxbroker.com. So just reply to the email invite that you received, and go from there. So thank you again for attending. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you next time.